Hello, this video is about the Second Battle of Moytura, a crucially important battle between a people of exalted skills, amongst whom walked refractions of deity, emanations of goddesses and gods on the one hand, and on the other hand a people of darkness, a fairly piratical people, earthy but very strong, the Fomorians. And so it's about the battle between the Tuathanan and the Fomorians. And we've just walked to the summit of the hill where the Second Battle of Moytura was fought in the Iron Age. And I'm hoping I'll be able to put with this video some clips of the way up. A great passage tomb, now called the Labby Stone. Wonderful lochs and views of Loch Arrow. You know, Loch Arrow is vast and island-studded and so beautiful. Anyway, the group got to the top, and there the earth energies are quite awesome, a fitting place for a battle between peoples of skill and the forces of darkness. The Tuathanan had originally lived in Ireland, but they had fled way before the battle because of oppression from the Fomorians. And the manuscripts state that they travelled the world learning much magic and sublime skills. Now, in fact, the Book of the Invasions is actually Ireland's epic. It's equal to the Iliad. So, just as when the Greeks and the Trojans fought and gods walked the earth, so too was that sense around at the time of the Second Battle of Moytura. Our difficulty, however, is that it was preserved orally over centuries and only written down by medieval monks, who of course brought their own particular bias and gloss to the material. They couldn't be too Catholic and too Christian about it because they were being paid by Irish nobles who wanted the ancient greatness. But nevertheless, they definitely bring their gloss. So we have the picture that the great Tuathanan, the people of the goddess Danu, travelled the world, but eventually they heard that it was probably going to be okay to return to their homeland in Ireland. And so they invaded. They took back their land, and they had to fight the first battle of Moytura to be able to have their area of land again. But the more important battle is the Second Battle of Moytura, which is archetypal, about the forces of our individual greatness and the forces of our darkness and oppression. So what happened was, after the first Battle of Moytura, the position of the Tuathanan got worse and worse due to bad leadership, due to having a leader who was connected to the Fomorians, in fact. And so, in the end, the great god, the Dagda, ended up doing manual work. But eventually, the people decided it was time to rebel. And the rebellion was sparked by the arrival of a new god in the people's consciousness. Lu took flesh. And Lu called each one of the Tuathanan to their special talents before the battle. And each of us has to answer that call. What are your special talents? If they aren't manifesting, what do you have to do to heal, to empower yourself? And so before the battle, the great god Lu, Lord of the harvest of our talents, asked each one of the Tuathanan, and what will you contribute to the battle against darkness? What will you contribute to the battle? What will you contribute to the battle? And so each of them focused their mind on what was their special talent. And I'd like to mention that I offer a course studying the goddesses and gods of the Tuatha Dé Danann. And they are so worth studying. Basically, I teach through vision contact. I send you material about them. I send you videos. You make your own vision contact and you correspond with me. And the various courses are introduced on my Druid Forest School website. So let's look briefly at the gods and goddesses of the Tuatha Dé Danann. Divine emanations who had been incarnated at this time to bring the special talents and magic of the Tuatha Dé Danann back to their homeland in Ireland, in this glorious and wonderful place, this battlefield of the Second Battle of Moytura. It couldn't be a more stunning and awe-inspiring place, so fit for a great battle. The black stones, the high pinnacle, the exalted views. It's utterly inspiring. And the walk up that the group did was beautiful in the extreme. So first of all, I'd like to mention the Morrigan and the Dagda. Now the Dagda is the great god. The Dagda has a cauldron of plenty, of rebirth. He's a generous, strong, sexual, good god. You know, what better figure to lead a people? He also has a harp, and the playing of his harp controls the proper order of the seasons. But the other great figure is the Morrigan, the battle goddess of the ancient Irish. Now the Morrigan is not the bloodthirsty harridan, the comic-like figure that can come into the manuscripts of the ancient monks, of the medieval monks. Just as the Dagda was horribly made a buffoon of by these monks. The Dagda is a great god. The Morrigan is an ethical goddess of sovereignty. You know, so many of the sort of Facebook groups portray her as this, I don't know, men-hating harridan. She isn't at all. They preserved the sovereignty of the people and the land. And every Samhain, the Dagda and the Morrigan were said to meet at the mouth of the Unshan, where it comes out of Loch Arrow at the foot of the battle site, and it flows to the sea, flowing into the Atlantic next to the wonderful and beautiful Carrowmoor ancient sacred site. And so the Morrigan is a wonderful figure for us of our assertion, of our need to ethically defend. So she isn't some sort of slam, bam, in your face caricature. She is the great goddess of war, and she is ethical. And it was her mating with the Dagda that assured victory. So they stood either foot aside the River Unius in a giant mating. And then the battle took place, and the battle brought victory for the Tuatha Dé Danann. And I've mentioned the other great god in the drama, Lu, Lord of the harvest of your talents and your special skills. And you can look at the other goddesses and gods that you can study on my Druid Forest School website. Because what was underlying the divinity of the Tuatha Dé Danann is the sense that we each are born to achieve certain special gifts, certain special scripts. Now, it's not automatic that we achieve them. Often our soul chooses obstacles to us becoming our greatness, to us becoming our specialness, whatever that is. And indeed, I always ally my Druid Forest School courses to looking at your Vedic astrology and your Western astrology. And of course, just as the Book of the Invasions is equal to the Iliad, it's also equal to the Vedas, because the ancient Vedic Indians and the Greeks and the Tuatha Dé Danann were all the same Indo-European people. Their languages all belong to the same family tree. There's great similarities between them and, for example, the Norse people. And so this course can connect you to that special visionary gift of each goddess or god. What else can I say? How does the course work? Well, you're sent videos, you're sent material, and you need to do the vision work, and then you correspond with me. And I look at your Vedic astrology, I look at your Western astrology, and often it's so helpful what I can say about what your talents and gifts are, what your special incarnational life purpose is. And that was the battle that the Tuatha Dé Danann fought. They fought the forces of fairly ignorant, dark, piratical people so that they could manifest their special flame, their special destiny, and how wonderful each of them is. But there is a twist to the tale. Later on, the Milesians invaded, and the Tuatha Dé Danann concluded that the world was not like a fit place for them to embody their specialness, and so they took to the fairy mounds and the barrows. But the point is, W.B. Yeats and Lady Gregory brought in the Celtic revival. I believe that in this time now we can again appreciate the gift of the Tuatha Dé Danann gods for what those gifts are, for who they are. So get in touch with me. Thank you.